Hello darlings, and welcome to another Bedroom Guru with me, Nikki Allen. Today we're going to talk about the fourth stage of the grieving module, which is depression. This is most probably the hardest stage to reach through, get through, endure. It is the absolute rock bottom of your emotional status. Most people think that depression is crying a lot. That's just one of a tiny many symptoms that take place when you're experiencing depression. Depression can lead to disturbed sleep. Either you oversleep, you don't sleep enough, or you have insomnia. Sometimes you'll sleep and then you're awake and then that's it. It's just a complete nightmare. There is no rhyme or reason to your sleep pattern when you have depression. You also have an exceptionally low amount of energy available to you, and so any kind of action, anything that you actually want to get done is a massive chore because your energy levels just drop drastically. This in turn leads to lack of motivation, and so you know it's a chore to actually go and do something. Getting it around even your head that you need to carry out a chore, pay a bill, or do something that's responsible in your life is just too much, physically and emotionally, so you just don't bother. This is kind of like the duvet in it kind of stage where you just don't want to interact with the world, you don't want to interact with people, you've just got no motivation whatsoever. Sorry about the wobble, that's Teddy jumping up and down as usual. They always like to disturb my videos. It's a stage where you just do not want to do anything. You just want to hide away, and perhaps sometimes this jumps you back into the denial stage, because some people just want to literally sleep or dream or just escape their reality, and by doing that they can sometimes jump back into the denial stage. So you could go rocketing right the way back to the beginning stages of grieving, which can be quite dangerous because then you're then just going to and from all the different emotional states. Sorry, I've got some hair or something that's getting in my face. That's really annoying me. So there's lack of motivation. This is a time where you may even get suicidal thoughts, that you want to be with the person that's passed over, that life isn't worth living. There is absolutely nothing for you to look forward to. There are no positives at all. You just feel completely dead from literally the top down to your feet, and you just feel there is nothing. There's just hopelessness. It is a complete bereft feeling, and a feeling of hopelessness, weakness. You can't control anything. You don't want to control anything. You don't want to play anymore. You don't want to connect in with the world. I've been there. If you've read my book, you'll know. And it is the most darkest, dankest, most loneliest place you'll ever find yourself in. You could be surrounded by a whole family that are supporting you. Do you want a cup of tea? Do you want a sandwich? Don't worry, we're downstairs. It doesn't matter. The depressive part of your energy just doesn't want to know. It can't find any positives whatsoever. You know, it's almost like it's the end of your life. It's the end of your world as you know it, because your loved one has gone. It's that simple. You'll feel this is when you will feel physical pain as well. I know we said it's, you know, it starts implementing itself during the guilt phase into anger, but this is when you're going to most probably have that permanent like knot in your chest. You're possibly going to get digestive issues as well, where you can't eat or you overeat, depending on how you react to it. You're going to have tummy upsets. Everything is just going to be turned upside down. Okay, you could even experience anxiety, and I'd never had this before ever. And then after I had my road accident and I was in bed for my 5-year journey, I remember waking up breathless, and my heart felt like it was literally going to rip out of my chest, and I thought, what the hell is this? And I thought, my God, I'm having a heart attack. And it was a panic attack. And you may get these jump in as well, just to add to a real shitty mix of depression as well. So you could start getting anxiety, panic attacks. Again, it is a very vulnerable time, and it's also a time, if you haven't even thought about it during anger, this is a time again where people engage in unusual behaviour or will adopt to just blot everything out because they cannot stand the heartbreak and the pain and the depression. So this is again when, if you've got addictive tendencies, or you may not even have addictive tendencies, where you just want to blot it out with alcohol, drugs, or, you know, unusual behaviour. And so it's up for you to try and check yourself if it gets too much and you know that you are having some sort of habits that are forming that are unmanageable. Only you can be honest with yourself about that. And if anybody intervenes to tell you that, then they're obviously doing it out of love for you. So remember that. They're trying to knock you back out of this self-destructive behaviour. Okay, so if they're a valued friend, value what they've got to say to you. If it goes on too long and starts getting, you know, to a state of self-sabotage, self-destruction. It is a really horrible place to be in. You know, I don't say very lightly, oh, pop down the doctors and get medication. But if you are finding it really hard to even get out of bed and just do the most simplest things, you know, make a cup of tea, make something to eat, and you're really struggling, it goes on and on and on, you know, perhaps you should think about going to see your GP and perhaps allowing some form of antidepressant to come in and assist you just for a brief time. You know, lots of people who don't know about antidepressants think they just zombie you out. Long are the days, long gone are the, you know, the Prozacs and the Valiums of this age. There are many types of different, there's SNRIs, SSRIs, there's all different reuptake inhibitors and types of antidepressants that will suit your energy, your medical condition, your medical status, if you like, and what you need it for. Okay, there's all different types, so don't be put off. As I say, that to me isn't the first port of call, but if it gets to a stage where your depression is unmanageable, perhaps you might need it just to get to a level that you can cope with just surviving each day. Okay, obviously the natural remedy is St John's Wort. I will be giving a full list of things that are going to alleviate depression further on towards the end of these series. Okay, towards the end of this series I'll give you some more tips and tools on how to assist yourself out of the depression. I've also got lots of videos on positivity and mindfulness that may help you if you want to look at those as well. For the person that's actually dealing with the person that's got the depression, again, it's not telling them, do not tell them to snap out of it. You've got no idea what this person's going through. You cannot understand it. Also, don't tell them that you understand, because you don't understand. It's one of the first things we're told when we go through our training. You can't possibly understand how it feels for that person. So say that. I can't possibly understand how it feels for you, but I'm here. Okay? It's best not to try and drag them out for a walk or come on, get yourself together, come on, let's go and do this, because you're going to perhaps push them even into a darker space where they're realising how useless they are, because they're going to feel useless, hopeless, okay, tired, they've got no energy. So the best thing for you to do is just say, I'm here if you need me, and sit downstairs and read a book, watch the telly and leave them to it. Just be present. Just be present, so they know that if they want to reach out, you're there, but you're not, you know, you're not invading their space. They need to process what's happened. I was done a Spock sign then. They need to process what's happened, and so just you being a strong, silent, definitive presence is going to be so much more powerful. I'm telling you that now. By all means, would you like a cup of tea? No. Would you like anything? Okay. Are you sure you don't want anything to eat? It really help. Would you fancy, even if it's a couple of chocolates? Anything? Okay. Do not pressure them. Offer, leave it, come away. All right. If it gets to a stage where they are becoming physically ill because of not eating or whatever they're doing, then obviously you can push a bit more. Can you see what I mean? But for the first couple of weeks, you're just going to have to let them get on with it. All right, you're going to have to let them get on with it. The same as the other stages, depression can go on for years. This is the thing. Depression sometimes will stay with people for the rest of their lives if they've lost someone that they just can't get over. That's the truth. But there are ways of alleviating depression. I've dealt with depression my whole life, and I have learnt to embrace it and grab it as my inner child saying I need some time out. Okay, then that's fine. So you have to make it your friend rather than your enemy. People get embarrassed talking about mental health. People get embarrassed about, you know, the stigma of not being able to cope. Absolutely nothing to do with not being able to cope. There, it's the same as having a cough. If you got a cough, you cough. All right. If you got a cold, you sneeze. If you got depression, there are symptoms that lead to you just not being able to cope. So bloody what? Does it matter? Okay. So own it. Own the fact that you're depressed. Tell people you're depressed. Acknowledge how you're feeling. Don't hide it away, the people that are going through this process, okay? If you want to talk, bloody talk. Find the people that you know are going to be good listeners, all right? If you don't, that's fair enough. It's absolutely fine. Don't allow yourself to be swayed by people that think they know how you should be grieving and how you should be dealing with your depression. Load of old pants, been there, done it, got the sweatshirt, got the t-shirt, all right? Biggest thing as well is if you are ever concerned about someone during the depressive stage, you know that they're suicidal or whatever, don't whisper. Don't whisper, right? I remember when my dad died, and one of the biggest things that gave me panic attacks as a 9-year-old is because I was seeing spirit. I saw my dad 2 days after he died, and so they thought I was in denial and losing the plot a bit and pretending to keep him alive. So they were whispering about it, and that really, really did upset me a lot, and it made me feel like I wanted to isolate. Okay. During the depressive phase, people don't want to interact or really know what's going on with their loved one, or they might want to know everything's going on. And this is vitally important for the people that are dealing with people that are depressed, or perhaps you're the stronger part of the family, or you're dealing with it a lot better, whatever the way forward. This is a scenario I want to explain. Always let your loved one know, okay, what is going on, gently. The one thing I will never forget, and it was nobody's fault, because you can't do anything, there's no right or wrong in grieving and loss, but I remember when I was a 9-year-old child, and I was getting dressed up in my cousin's clothes because I stayed with my auntie for a while, straight after my dad passed, and nobody told me at all, and I didn't know why I was dressing up in my cousin's clothes, these dark clothes. And then I turned up, and then the first thing I see is a hearse, and it hit me like a brick, and I just felt like I wanted to scream and collapse. It was horrific, because nobody prepared me, nobody told me where I was going or what I was doing, nobody gave me a choice either, you know. They just assumed that I was going to the funeral, which I would have wanted to go. So can I just say, at this juncture, when we're a bit further along and we've got to start dealing with the practicalities of the passing, okay, give choice. And this is also for your children, okay? Give them the choice. Do not decide for other people what they think is best for them, because you could mar them, you could scar them emotionally for life, okay, by you making the decision for them. So for instance, you know, the number one thing is, do you want to go and see that person in the chapel of rest? Okay, you think, God, no, they're so depressed, I think it'll break them. Let's not even give them the option, right? Give them the option. Right, Bill's in the chapel of rest. Do you want to go and see him? What do you think, darling? I can't cope with it at the moment. Okay, I'm just letting you know the option's there, honey, okay? Done then. All right, don't make the decision. Do you want to go to the funeral? No, I can't. Well, you should really, because you'll really regret it. If they don't want to, they don't want to. If they do, they do. Okay? So again, let them make the decisions. Okay? Let them know what funeral day is. Let them know this is the day. Because depression, when you're in that mode of just boof, flatline, you ain't got a clue what day of the week it is, all right? You've almost got to deal with the person like they are a child, you know, and explain things gently and clearly to them, but let them make the decision. You make the decision for them. They may get lack of closure. Exactly the same with, you know, the amount of people that I've done readings for, the lack of closure they got because they were kids. You know, their parents decided that they shouldn't go and see their nan or granddad just before they were dying. Okay, so they never got closure. They never managed to say goodbye to their nan, granddad, brother, sister, whoever. So, you know, if someone's terminally ill, for instance, or someone's in a coma, or they, you know, they're on, unfortunately, they're on a, you know, machine, you know, of, oh God, I can't remember the word for it, sorry. But they're on a, bloody hell, brain fog. Hang on, let me have a sip of coffee, it might come. No, it hasn't come, sorry. You know, give them the choice. Do you want to come and see them before we say goodbye? Do you want to come and see them? I'll tell you now, they're not looking very well. It's entirely up to you. Do you want to come and see them now they've passed? They're not going to look like them, but if you need to do this, go and do it. All right? So, you know, keep it honest, keep it gentle, but keep them informed. No matter how withdrawn they are, please keep them informed. It's so important, because when they come back down to earth again and they start on the upward turn and they start being aware of things, they are going to just, you know, it could damage them that they weren't given the choice and things were done without them knowing. So don't think you know what's best for someone just because they've closed down and they're in a deep depression. Talk to them and give them the options, and then they've made that decision. One, it clears your consciousness for when later on down the line they go, how dare you make decisions for me? And two, it's better that they just know everything that's going on. And please, 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 this is for people looking after people. Do never, ever, ever call the person the body. The body's being released from the morgue. The body's at the funeral home. The body's wherever. All right, don't ever refer to it as a body. Bill's ready to go to the funeral home now, darling. Do you want to go and see him there? Bill's now ready to be seen. Is that okay? Bill's now at the funeral home and is just wondering if, all right, refer to them as the person. Okay, and also don't make it obvious that you're talking about the person in the past tense, and don't correct someone that is still talking about them in the present tense. Oh, Bill will love this. I'll give him a call in a minute. And you're thinking, oh my God, Bill's gone. Do you know what I mean? So I'm using Bill, just Bill's come up. You know, and Bill is lovely, isn't he? No, he was lovely, darling. You do not, just let them process it. All right, it is so difficult. It is so difficult dealing with people that are grieving if you don't know how to. But don't be scared of it. Don't avoid seeing people or talking to them because they're in this lost, depressed, I can't cope state. Okay? Again, timing is crucial. If you're finding that it's month after month after month, they're not washing, they're not getting dressed, they're not eating, they're not doing anything to look after themselves. You know, they may have kids and they can't cope. That's why I stay with my auntie. If you're finding that it really is starting to hit home that they are not coping, then you're going to have to intervene, definitely, or get, you know, some form of doctor in, or you sit down with other family members. But if it continues that they cannot even, you know, you don't see any improvement after a number of months, that is your time to start stepping in and thinking that you need to start taking some action. Okay? For the people that are suffering it, all I can say to you again is you have to just take one day at a time. This is exactly the same advice for every stage of the grieving module, okay? So you've got to be kind to yourself. If you can, you know, go and brush your teeth, perhaps brush your hair. If you don't want to, it doesn't matter. Don't put yourself under pressure what you should and could be doing, okay? Don't worry that you haven't gone back to work yet. Don't worry, just allow yourself to process the reality of what's taken place. As I say, St John's wort is a really good natural remedy. It's a natural health supplement. It comes from a plant and it is a brilliant antidepressant, okay? Even research things that are going to help you with depression. To be honest with you, what I do is I, as I, you know, very quickly, I put my favourite music on. I put my favourite smells on. If you need to cuddle your loved one's cardigan to bring you comfort, do it. Just find things that are going to make it easier for you to get through each day. Don't force yourself to do anything, and don't force yourself to do what people are telling you to do. Own what you want to do. If you want to duvet it and just cry under a pillow for the next day or so, do it. Honour the process, because it is a natural way for you to suddenly realise they're not here. And I mean emotionally, physically, spiritually. It hits you and you think, shit, they really, really aren't going to be here ever, ever, ever. And that reality could send you into the depression. Again, some people don't get the depression, but more than likely you will. Okay? It's completely natural. As long as it doesn't start to completely destroy your life, honour the stage that you need to go through, the depression of the loss. And it is tough. By all means, if you need any more guidance, please comment below this video. But as I said to you, I will be giving you tips on how to cope through grieving towards the end of this series, okay? So there will be a video dedicated to me helping you ease your way through it. Yet again, I'd like to say to you, I bring you love and strength for anybody that's actually going through this at the moment and watching this. Again, as I say, I can't imagine what you must be feeling, but I really do hope that by identifying the fact that you're not alone by what I'm telling you today, gives you some sort of comfort, okay? Just be kind to yourself. Just literally survive every day that you can. And if you can lean on support or communicate with your loved ones around you, please do it. But if you don't want to, that's fine. If you want to make it clear to them that you want them in the house but you don't want to communicate, make that clear as well. So not only am I talking about people caring for people that are grieving, being honest, you try and be honest as well as a person that's suffering. All right, try and be as honest with people as you can without ripping their heads off if you're still in the angry stage. Be very, as I say, be mindful that you're not using other things to mask the pain, as we spoke about in anger. And again, if you start dropping back into the previous emotional states, it really doesn't matter, okay? It's not a textbook ticky box, this isn't. You know, you might go back into denial, you might go back into guilt, whatever it is, that's fine. Just as long as it doesn't last for month after month after month, okay? You'll know if it feels right or not and if you should be recovering a bit more. And other people will notice it if they know you really well as well. So don't panic, take it easy, just let it do its thing and honour the process, and do not feel guilty if you laugh. Do not feel guilty if you feel good. I shouldn't be dead and I shouldn't be doing this. Yes, you should. The one thing they don't want you to do is sit there, blame yourself and feel like shit and talk to yourself just because they've passed. They want to see you slowly, slowly, slowly get back to some form of coping. They don't want to see you rocking in a ball crying for month after month, okay? But then don't feel guilty if you do. It's all about balance. It's all about balance. And only you know if it's kind of tipping one way or the other. Okay? So anyway, I hope this helps you. And I'll speak to you very soon. God bless all of you that are going through the grieving process. And if you need any help, please just drop comments below. Take care.